Good evening to all. Myself, Dr. Nilofer Sheikh. I am Associate Professor and Sprirog Consultant at PD Patel Ayurved Hospital attached with JS Ayurved Mahavidyalay, Nadiyad, Gujarat, India. I did my post-graduation from the well-known Institute of Ayurveda, ITRA, Gujarat Ayurved University, Jamnagar. Today I am going to deliver the topic that is the vomiting during pregnancy and Ayurveda. So here I am going to present PowerPoint presentation in front of you. The topic is vomiting during pregnancy and Ayurveda. The contents of this presentation are: first, that is the introduction of vomiting during pregnancy, and it is termed as the emesis gravidarum. Second, the major content of this presentation is Ayurvedic concept of vomiting during pregnancy, and it is termed as the Garbhini Chardi. Now coming to introduction. So as a nausea and vomiting during pregnancy is the physiological event, and it is affecting about 70 to 80% of women. And these 80% of pregnant women experience the excessive salivation, nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, and it is termed as the morning sickness. Though it is termed as the morning sickness, but it is frequently continuous throughout the days. This kind of the nausea and vomiting, that is physiological one, and it is limited to first trimester of the pregnancy only. Sometimes some patient may feel this kind of the condition throughout the pregnancy until the delivery. So here you can see in this chart that the morning sickness often develops by 5 to 6 weeks of the gestation, and this condition usually lasts around 9 weeks, and it is typically improved after the 16 to 18 weeks of the gestation. That is the limited period of this nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, and it is up to 18 weeks of the pregnancy. Now, the common causes of this nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. So, high level of serum human chorionic gonadotrophin, that is HCG, estrogen, progesterone, altered immunological status of the mother, and it is also aggravated by the neurogenic factors. And some aggravated factors which are responsible for the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy are the younger woman, twin pregnancy, primigravida, and the obese woman. So what is the complication of this emesis gravidarum or the simple nausea and vomiting during pregnancy? If this kind of the condition is not treated, or if there is excess amount of human chorionic gonadotrophin during the pregnancy, then it is turned into the hyperemesis gravidarum. So what is hyperemesis gravidarum? It is the condition when the patient have that much of the nausea and vomiting, so she is not able to do her day-to-day activities, and there is the appearance of the symptoms of the dehydration, and it is termed as the hyperemesis gravidarum. And there are some risk factors for the hyperemesis gravidarum are the multiple gestation, trophoblastic disease, hyperemesis gravidarum prior pregnancy, fetal anomalies like the triploidy, trisomy 21, hydrops fetalis, and the nulliparity. And of course, there is the family history also. Means 28% of women reporting the hyperemesis gravidarum in their mother if they have the history of this kind of the hyperemesis gravidarum in mothers, and 19% reporting their sisters had similar symptoms. So there is a big difference between the common nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, that is the emesis gravidarum. There is no any symptoms of dehydration. It is a physiological symptom. But when it is turned into the hyperemesis gravidarum, then there is the development of the symptoms of dehydration, and it is a more worse condition of the pregnancy. Now, pathophysiology of the development of the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. So uh, there are three main causes, or there are three theories which are responsible for the development of the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. That is the psychological, hormonal, and the gastrointestinal theories. So coming to hormonal factors, as I already told that because of the elevated human chorionic gonadotrophin, there is the increased risk of the development of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. So there is a link between the HCG and nausea vomiting during pregnancy is based largely on the temporal relationship between the peak of the NVP and the peak of HCG production, and it is between the the aggravating hormone. This aggravating hormone is between the 12 to 14 weeks of the gestation, and the other ovarian hormones like estrogen and the progesterone both have implicated in the pathogenesis of the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. And uh, excess amount of estrogen is also responsible as it is found in low parity and high maternal body mass index. It means obese woman. So in this condition, they have the high amount of estrogen, which lead the higher incidence of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. Simultaneously, progesterone is also responsible, and progesterone decrease the smooth muscle contractibility, and it may alter the gastric emptying and lead to increase the nausea and vomiting. So because of this kind of the phenomena, there is the development of the nausea and vomiting. The second theory, that is the gastrointestinal dysmotility. So again, alteration in the lower esophageal sphincter, resting pressure, and the esophageal peristalsis movement may have been linked to nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. These changes are more typically associated with the heartburn in the pregnancy, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and it may produce atypical symptoms such as the nausea and the contributor of the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. So, why this gastrointestinal motility is decreased? Again, it is because of the high level of the estrogen and the progesterone. Now, psychological factors. So, early studies propose that nausea and vomiting during pregnancy may be a psychosomatic illness in which vomiting represent intrapsychic conflicts. Like some have speculated that in nausea vomiting pregnancy is manifestation of the pregnant woman's subconscious attempt to reject an unwanted pregnancy, as studies have found that women with NVP in the first trimester are more likely to have unplanned or the undesired pregnancies. So diagnostic and laboratory tests. So other than a pregnancy test, no any specific laboratory studies are recommended for the diagnosis of the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. Others, other tests may helpful to excluding some other causes of nausea and vomiting, like leukocytosis should not be seen in NVP, while it is found in the infectious condition or inflammatory condition like cholecystitis, urinary tract infection, and the pancreatitis. So for the differential diagnosis, we have to advise some investigation, blood investigation. Otherwise, there is no need of any investigation to diagnose the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. So the treatment protocol, so the goal of the treatment is to improve the symptoms and to minimize the risk of the fetus and the mother. And there are three approaches in the treatment of the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. First, that is some dietary changes. Second, avoidance of the triggers. And third one, that is the use of some oral medicaments. So first one, that is the dietary changes. So we have to advise the patient to eating more protein and less carbohydrate and the less of fatty acids to prevent the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. And patient is advised to eat snacks frequently and have multiple small meals, yes, which are high in the protein and less in carbohydrate and the fat. Third thing, we can advise the patient to drink cold, clear and sour fluids like ginger, lemonade and the drinks, that is to be small amounts between the meals. Here I like to highlight one thing, that is the ginger. So ginger is a single non-pharmacologic intervention recommended by the American College of Obstetrical and Gynecology. So you can advise the patient to put the small amount of ginger into the mouth to prevent the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. Then patient is advised to avoid the triggers like very spicy, sugary and high fat foods, and she is also advised to avoid the odors like perfumes, chemical, coffee, food and smoke. She should avoid the noise, heat and humidity, visual physical motion like driving and excessive salivation, etc. Here, in oral medicaments, patient is advised to take vitamin B6 and doxylamine. So, these are the some supplements which can reduce the mild to moderate type of the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. So, doxylamine along with vitamin B6 is useful and it is usually prescribed in cases of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. There are some antihistamines like diphenylhydride, and it is also used in nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. And some anti-nausea medications which are available with the prescription, and it is like Phenargan, um, metoclopramide, ondansetron, etc. So this is all about the modern aspect of the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. Now coming to the Ayurvedic concept of vomiting during pregnancy, and it is termed as the Garbhini Chardi. So in Ayurveda classics, Garbhini Chardi is mentioned under the Vyakt Garbha Lakshan. It means it is a symptom of the pregnancy, and we can correlate it as the MSS gravidarum. And there are a different formulation recipes which are mentioned by Ayurvedic classics, and it is easily available. We can easily prepare and we can cure this kind of the condition during pregnancy. Acharya Charaka, Shushrut and Kashyap have described this condition, Garbhini Chardi, in detail. So here I quoted two slokas from the Sanhita. First one, that is the Satya Gruhit Garbhalaksha, means the symptoms in the initial stage of pregnancy. In this shloka, there is the description of Nishtivika. Nishtivika means nausea. So nausea is the physiological symptoms which is appeared during the initial stage of the pregnancy. While same Acharya Charaka has explained the Chardi as the Vyakt Garbha Lakshana, means vomiting is the symptom of the pregnancy. So now Nidan of the Garbhini Chardi. According to Acharya Shushruta, he has given the Nidana as a Naryascha Apanna Sattva. And what is a Naryascha Apanna Sattva? It means the Apanna Sattva itself suggests that the Garbhini. It means Because of the pregnancy, the development of physiological vomiting and nausea is there. He also explained the Daurad Avmanan, one of the Nidan of the Garbhini Shardi. So what is Daurad Avmanan? So Daurad Avmanan means non-fulfillment of the desire from the fetus. According to Acharya Shushruta, during 4th month of pregnancy, fetus will desire some kind of food and some kind of the vihar, as it is termed as the dauran. But whenever pregnant lady not fulfill that kind of the wishes from the fetus, that is termed as the daurat avmanan. And according to Acharya Harita, he has considered the chardi as the one of the updrav of the garbha. It means it is the complication related to pregnancy. While Acharya Kashyap has explained that there is no difference of the physical and the psychological disorder of the pregnant woman from any other individual. So here the Nidan Panchak of Chhardi can be considered for the Garbhini Chhardi also. Now, probable samprapti of the Garbhini Chhardi. So, during pregnancy, Nidana like the Garbhapidan, along with the lack of proper Garbhini Paricharya resulting in Agni-mandya. Garbhapidan means the development, growth and development of the fetus, and the lack of Garbhini Paricharya. As Acharya has mentioned, the Masanumasik Garbhini Paricharya, that is month-wise dietary regimen for the pregnant lady. So if there is not, if there is a lacuna in the Garbhini Paricharya, and again it is because of the Garbhapidan, Agni-mandya will be there. And some Mansik Bhava, like Mansik Karan, like Daurad Avmanan, is also going to lead the Vata Vruddhi. And because of this Vata Vruddhi, Agni-mandya take place, which lead the Kapha Dushti. Here, Kapha Dushti will lead the Utklist dosha. It means the aggravated of the dosha, and these Utklist dosha are expelled out from the mouth by the action of Udan and Vyanvayu. So, in the next slide, there is the flow chart of Samprapti of Garbhini Chhardi. Here, what is the Nidan of Garbhini Chhardi? That is the Garbha Vruddhi and the Daurad Avmanan. And because of this, there will be the aggravation of the Vatadi dosha. And these Utklist dosha will carried out by the Vyan and Udana Vayu, and it leads the Garbhini Chhardi. Now coming to the management of the Garbhini Chhardi. So even though the Acharya Kashyap has mentioned that the disease occurring in the pregnant woman is same that of the non-pregnant woman, but still we can't apply the treatment protocol of the general Chhardi, which is mentioned by Acharya Charak during the pregnancy. As the Acharya Charak mentioned the Langana, it means fasting, and the Shodhana, it means Panch Karma, as a line of treatment of Chhardi. But during pregnancy, we can't offer the Langan and the Shodhana to the pregnant woman. So here we have to give the gentle treatment which adopted to minimize symptoms and also maintains the growth of the fetus. Now, what is the Samanya Chikitsa? It means the general management of the Garbhini Chhardi. Chikitsa of the Garbhini Chhardi is explained in various samhitas and it is as mentioned below. Samanya Chikitsa of Garbhini Chhardi is the use of Dunimba paste with equal quantity of Sharkara. Second yog, Sunthi, that means the gingiber officinal. Bilva, Kashai with Yavashaktu. Third one, the paste of Dhanyak with rice water and sugar. Use of Bilva Phalamacha with Lajambu. So these are the classical yogas which are used to prevent and to cure the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. Viseshta Chikitsa, that is the specific management of the Garbhini Chhardi. So the specific management is described by the Acharya Kashyap according to the dosha. First, that is the Vatach Garbhini Chhardi. So in the treatment of Vatash Garbhini Chhardi, the use of leha of Matulung Rasa, that means lemon juice, Lajha, Rasanjan, it is should be taken with Sharkara and Madhu. Pakwa Rasa of Amalki and Dadim without salt. So here the main thing is that the Acharyas has given the medicine which has the Amla Ras Pradhana. Second thing, the Anupan is Sharkara and Madhu to prevent the hypoglycemic condition during pregnancy. The Chikitsa in Pittach Garbhini Chhardi is the use of rice water with Laja Churna, Sharkara and Madhu mixed with Chaturjat Kalka. Here Chaturjat Churna contains the Twaka, Tamalpatra, Ela and Nagakesar. The Chikitsa in the Kafash Garbhini Chhardi, the cloth of Jambu Pallav, Amra Pallav which is mixed with the Sharkara and honey, use of mudga and dadima mixed with salt. Here again liquid diet should be given during the pregnancy. Chikitsa in Sannipatash Garbhini Chhardi. So the combination of all about treatment should be given according to the predominance of the dosha. And the Chikitsa in Krimich Garbhini Chhardi, then use of the Punarnava Mula and Bhadra Daru along with the honey. That is the indicated by the Acharyas. Now coming to the discussion. So emesis gravidarum is considered as a physiological condition, but it can cause some kind of discomfort to the patient. So we have to manage and prevent this condition, that is Garbhini Chhardi, with a simple, safe, classical herbal formulations. So here the drugs which are using to treat the nausea and vomiting during pregnancy have the property like Deepana, Krimigna, Hridayam, Rochana, Chardi Nigrahan means to suppress the vomiting, Vatanulomak, Tridoshkar, and these are these drugs which are useful to manage the Garbhini Chhardi. So, is there any research? Yes, of course. There are some clinical studies carried out in various institutes of Ayurveda in India to prove the efficacy of Ayurvedic drugs on vomiting during pregnancy, that is Garbhini Chhardi, and most of the studies reported the significant results. Here, there are some reference regarding these studies. Now coming to the conclusion, so it can be concluded that the Ayurvedic classics, various simple and safe herbal formulation have been explained for the Chhardi, Garbhini Chhardi, and which can easily be incorporated in day-to-day life of pregnant women, and they are safe to prepare and easily available. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, then you can ask or you can mail to the given email address. On this platform, I like to acknowledge Dr. Shekhar sir for giving this wonderful opportunity to speak in 43rd International Online Conference, that is Ayurveda and Gut Care. Gut Care organized by the Global Ayurveda Conferences and hosted by the APNA. Thank you so much.